Welcome to Money Matters, the weekly currency roundup podcast brought to you by IsraTransfer. Whether you're a seasoned investor, an expat managing your finances, or just curious about the world of currency exchange, you're in the right place. Each week, IsraTransfer's co-founder and head of trading, Daniel Engelsman, will inform us of the latest trends, insights, and market movements that could impact your money. From currency fluctuations to economic news, we're here to equip you with everything you need to navigate the ever-changing landscape of foreign exchange. So let's dive into this week's roundup. Daniel, what's the latest update on the exchange rate?
Hi, and welcome back to another weekly update on the currency rates. I was deciding whether or not to make today's one because at the time of recording, it's a pretty sad day here in Israel, and it's been taking a lot of emotion out of work, and does currency really matter on days like today? But made the decision that we have to continue. So I'm going to give you a brief update, a bit shorter than normal. So here we go. I'm going to start with Canadian today, just because it has recovered a little bit over the last week, but we've seen rates of late the lowest they've been over the last 10 years. So in the last 10 years, we've seen Canadian dollar against the shekel reach lows of around 2.4. We've seen as high as 3.23, but that was exactly 10 years ago. We've seen it recover a little bit over the last few days. It hit 2.5 briefly, but it's come back down to 2.49. But we are better off than we did see at the beginning of February, which was 2.42. So important for anyone transferring money from Canada. In terms of the pound and the US dollar, pretty much what it's been the last week or so. We've seen not a lot of change. It seems to be a bit of a holding pattern at the moment. We're waiting really to see what happens with the ceasefire agreement, if that's going to continue or not.
And what should we be looking at for next week?
A lot of underlying tension now with Donald Trump and Russia and Ukraine especially. So there's a few political things that could have an impact over the course of the next week. But really, we've not seen much movement in the dollar. We're currently, at the time of recording this, at 3.546. And we've seen as high as 3.59 and as low as 3.53 during the course of this week. The pound did reach 4.5 at one point, but we're back down to 4.48 at the time of recording this. So we're just pretty much waiting to see what happens.
And any recommendations for those looking to make Aliyah in the coming months?
Now, in terms of a little tidbit of information, I normally concentrate on things related to property, but I'm going to talk about Aliyah. If you're making Aliyah, one top tip: before you make Aliyah, go and speak to your bank in the US or Canada or the UK or wherever you're coming from, and make sure that you do have access to your money when you make Aliyah. What do I mean by that? We have clients that get on the plane, make Aliyah. When they call their bank or try and go online to make a transfer, maybe larger than they've transferred in the past, the bank say, no problem, come into the branch and we'll deal with it for you. And it can cause a lot of problems for clients. So make sure when you're making Aliyah that you've gone, spoken to your bank and made sure that you've got your funds available, whether it's online or if you have to set up a power of attorney for a relative, just make sure that you've set that up before you make Aliyah. So wish you a good week.
And that wraps up this week's Currency Weekly Roundup. We hope you found this episode informative and engaging. If you enjoyed today's discussion, be sure to subscribe and let us know if you have any questions you'd like Daniel to answer. For more information on currency exchange and to stay updated with the latest trends, visit us at IsraTransfer.com. Join us next week for more insights and analysis. Until then, stay informed and take care. Disclaimer: this podcast provides general information about currency exchange and buying or selling currency. It does not constitute legal, financial, or investment advice. Listeners should make independent decisions and seek professional guidance. The company is not liable for any actions taken based on this content.